On this episode, we're featuring several Aggies who are on a mission to do good. From food literacy to wildlife habitat, produce boxes, and a farmer's market, we'll spotlight therapeutic horsemanship too. California Bountiful starts now.
Inspiring kids to eat their vegetables doesn't happen overnight. However, with some lessons in cooking and nutrition, the Food Literacy Center is hoping to get kids to give veggies a go, one class at a time.
You are here at Food Literacy Center, and this is our cooking classroom. When I started the nonprofit, we were seeing a lot of headlines about the increase in rates of childhood obesity, and I just knew that we could do something about this.
Amber Stott is the founder behind this Sacramento nonprofit designed to get kids into their greens.
Kids don't have habits yet, and so we want to get to them and help them learn healthy habits because we want to protect their health for the long term. We want to get kids inspired to eat their vegetables so that they can protect their health and grow up with healthy habits so that they never get childhood obesity in the first place.
If I try something and I don't like it, that's okay.
We teach hands-on cooking and nutrition in Title I or low-income elementary schools. So we are trying to reach the kids who are at highest risk for these diet-related diseases. So those are the kids actually who don't have enough to eat at home because they're not getting enough good nutrition. So you often see rates of hunger tied with rates of childhood obesity. We have amazing, delicious, tasty recipes, and we teach our kids little science experiments so that they can learn how foods work in their bodies. So we talk about how does sugar work in my body? How does fat work in my body? And then we'll show them a recipe. So if we're talking about sugar, we might make oatmeal and talk about having long-term energy to stay awake at school so you can learn. If we're talking about fat, we'll make guacamole and we'll talk about healthy fats and the beautiful foods that grow right here in California.
Students also learn fruit and vegetable appreciation, how to read nutrition labels, cooking skills, and environmental impacts of their food choices. And most importantly, they have fun.
We're really trying to take kids on a gentle journey. We don't start with the brown rice and kale salad. We want to start with foods that they're familiar with so that they just see how subtle and important and easy these changes are. We're trying to create a healthy environment in which our children can succeed. A lot of kids' immediate reaction to something new is to say, ew, gross, I don't like it. And we encourage them not to have that behavior because something that you don't like might be your neighbor's very favorite thing, and we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And it's amazing how it will change their entire attitude. And you'll see the whole class, they will get on board with this because they don't want to hurt people's feelings. And it opens them up. It changes their attitude.
Don't yuck my yum! I like that I could try new things that I never heard of.
You've got to change first knowledge, then attitude, that's the hardest one, and then ultimately the behavior comes.
You could try it. If you try it, you'll probably like it. You can say, it's not for me, or I don't really like it very much, but I hope you do. Supporting a friend is gonna give them confidence to try it.
Simple lessons in food literacy that have a lasting impact.
I get to cook and learn new things. I get to chop up the little vegetables or apples. As I chopped it, I cried a little bit because I chopped an onion. We made pizza last time we were here. It was very cheesy. We added the cheese, we cooked it up, and I chopped broccoli.
They like the fact that they're being challenged to do something complicated like cook an entire recipe from start to finish, and they feel really proud of that. So we feel really proud that the kids feel proud, and typically if a kid feels a sense of pride in something, they're gonna want to repeat it.
Now for a Bountiful Spotlight.
Back in the 70s, we put this property here into an easement so it would never have the opportunity to be farmed, that it would be conserved in perpetuity. And so we now manage the 650 acres of wetlands here on the farm. To understand, the diversity of life that we're helping support is really rewarding. And oftentimes, it's the place where I come to kind of clear my head and see a beautiful sunrise or sunset and enjoy just the amazing nature that we have here in the valley. It's part of just an ethic of when you have so much environmental presence around you, it's something we just take a strong sense of responsibility in terms of how we care for it, and it's just it's not we just look at the farming side of the operation, we're looking at the conservation side all the time as well. Once I learned that there was something not right about how we were managing the habitat, or that we could do better, I think that's just sort of an ethic that we've had, is whatever we're going to do in whatever facet of the operation, I want it to be as effective as possible. And just like I said, we make big investments in how we grow our crops. I thought it was only appropriate that we would treat our riparian and habitat areas with the same level of concern and care, and so we've really stepped up our efforts across the farm. I definitely have a sense of responsibility, and I think even going back to my third great-grandfather, he essentially was working in the landscape and raising cattle here, but he saw some of the last herd of tule elk that were in peril, essentially just because some of their habitat was getting squeezed out, and he had his vaqueros round them up and put them in a safe place, and that same initial breeding stock has populated a lot of California from his efforts of essentially preserving them. Stories like that resonate with me, and just carrying forward a responsibility of, we don't produce cattle anymore, but healthy food and fiber, for people, and also making sure that we're doing it and taking the environment into account at the same time. This is some coyote bush we planted this year. For a long time, we've made investments in what is being called sustainability, but it's essentially, doing the right thing. Certainly rewarding to see when you make investments and that they're paying off, and that you're making improvements all the time. If there's ways we can highlight what we're doing, and it can be helpful to other growers, see that there's pathways to, not only being great, food and fiber producers, but you can also do, habitat enhancements and, add those values in as well. Again, it's an honor to be able to produce food in California and do it in a really sustainable way.
Stay with us. We'll introduce you to a group of ghetto gardeners after the break.
California Bountiful is brought to you by the California Farm Bureau.
Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's largest financial services companies too. Just like I'm so much more than quarterback Peyton Manning. I'm also Peyton Manning.
It's lovely, Peyton.
Did you say Peyton or Peyton?
Peyton.
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 Great work.
Thank you. For your insurance and financial needs, Peyton, Nationwide is on your side.
Bigger than ever, California Bountiful Magazine's special edition is coming out on October 1st, jam-packed with 64 pages of holiday inspiration, from gift ideas to mouth-watering recipes, plus insights from California farmers, gardening tips, and more. For just $9.99, get a 1-year subscription, or save 25% on a 2-year subscription, and get exclusive access to both print and digital content. Visit CaliforniaBountiful.com to subscribe today.
I tell my son, I love you every single day. I love you. Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
Behind me, these ghetto gardeners are packing fresh produce boxes with items from their garden. And not only are they learning about cultivating and harvesting, but they're picking up plenty of life lessons too.
We are We're at the Ghetto Gardeners in Turlock, and this garden is a place where kids can come who are from underserved, high risk to drugs, alcohol, and gangs, kids who may not have anything else on the outside, no way to eat or to support themselves, and they come here and they raise their own food and they learn how to cook it. It's wonderful.
From humble beginnings in 2002 as an urban 4-H club and community garden turned Grange, has now bloomed with a unique group of ghetto gardeners.
The garden here at the property really took off during COVID. They had planted a huge, beautiful garden. It was their first year with regenerative farming, and they had nowhere to show the vegetables, and they were gonna rot. So they said, let's just get some boxes and we'll put in a few things and we'll put it on the internet and we'll sell them for $5. They sold those boxes, and all of a sudden we were selling 20 boxes a day, driving all over Stanislaus County and Merced County, delivering. And you know, it was a good thing for the kids, but it was also good for the people that maybe did not have contact. So right now the kids do about 20 boxes a week, and they sell them and they get the money, and they're very happy. They learn to interact to the public. They work on their business skills. They work on just so many interpersonal communication things.
Jolynn DeGrazia, along with her husband Joe, oversee the program and have been working with youth in the community for more than 4 decades.
When we take them out here, we want them to experience a verdant environment. We want them to be able to run and laugh and play. We give them these little pails and they harvest so they can take that home. But we also cook, so we serve food to 100 people every day during the school year, and they like to go pick whatever they want to eat, and we cook it for them. So we want them to fall in love with food. We really do. And then at the end of the growing season, we have a farm to fork dinner out in the garden, and they make enough money and they serve the public so that the public can see what they've done. This year they're gonna cook their rabbits, their chickens, a lamb, and a pig, believe it or not. So that is the pinnacle for them of just being able to say, man, this was a great year. In this neighborhood, there is a certain street gang, and the kids that we work with in Ghetto Gardeners, almost all of them, probably 70% of them, their family are gang members. So it gives them an out. We all run into things in life. What do we do? So that's why the kids say, we go to the garden. I'm gonna go to the garden.
Put them in quickly.
I'm sorry, okay.
Oh, I love harvesting. That's also one of my favorite parts, just to see it and put it in like our baskets, like basically from the beginning, like seeing how we planted it, and then now it's like this cucumber or something. It teaches you a lot of skills too, like life skills that you don't know it's happening, but it's happening. I'm scared of the chickens, but I'll still do it. But the pigs and stuff I showed for 9 years.
They are farmers, and they will argue with anyone who says they're not. They're unconventional, and we love that. As far as farming goes, they know how to do everything. They propagate, they plant, they cultivate.
She says here the kids do it all. First putting in sweat equity to join the group, and then all aspects of working on the farm, from weed and pest control to pruning, picking, and presentation.
They prepare things to go to our county fair, which is really fun. And they also just learn how to cook things, and they're always thinking about, well, if we do this kind of cucumber, we're gonna make this, we're gonna cook this kind of salsa. So they also get to use their imagination and push forward.
And of course, a big part of Ghetto Gardeners is serving the community.
So we have the boxes, and then obviously we have all the produce that we pick. We like to start with shining all over the vegetables, making sure all of the dirt and dust is off of them. And then we take about some bigger fruits, vegetables, we put them at the bottom, and then we take about 2 to 3 of the smaller containers, whether that be like tomatoes, okra, whatever it may be, and then we do varieties of peppers in the boxes, and then we go out and sell them. I didn't think I ever was gonna be a farmer, but just coming out here and just picking, just being able to give it back to the community, because they give so much to us through donations, being able to help us go to camp and do all these other activities that we do. So just being able to help them, it's awesome.
We want it to really be out there that we are an urban farm, And the kids came up with that because during COVID, I'm not gonna lie, we didn't know what we were doing. Our boxes, they were ghetto. They're like, our boxes are ghetto, we're the ghetto gardeners. But ghetto just means neighborhood or barrio. Barrio, you know, gardeners doesn't go, so we did ghetto. But the ghetto gardeners just was something that they felt like they could relate to.
More California Bountiful when we return.
Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's largest financial services companies too. Just like I'm so much more than quarterback Peyton Manning. I'm also Peyton Manning.
It's lovely, Peyton.
Did you say Peyton or Peyton?
Peyton.
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 Great work.
Thank you. For your insurance and financial needs, Peyton, Nationwide is on your side.
The California Farm Bureau has protected the diverse agricultural interests in the Golden State for over a century. As part of the California Farm Bureau, you'll add your voice to the combined strength of over 34,000 farmers, ranchers, and families through our state. That means more connections, more influence, and more opportunity to fight for the issues that impact your life. With your support behind us, California Farm Bureau's robust government affairs, federal policy and farm pact, and legal teams work tirelessly to advocate at all levels of government, protecting and promoting our shared way of life. Together, California Farm Bureau and our members are standing up for farmers, ranchers, and families throughout the Golden State every day, working to cultivate a bountiful future for all Californians.
Fueled by their love of community and agriculture, nonprofit Harvestly is connecting the best local farmers with consumers through doorstep deliveries.
Harvestly is a one-stop shop connecting consumers with the region's best farmers and producers.
Harvestly was started in 2020 by Cal Poly students, and what we are is a local farmers market delivery service. So you can order a customized bag of whatever you like in your order, and we deliver it to your doorstep on the Central Coast of California.
Customers simply shop and make their selections on Harvestly's online marketplace.
Frozen meat to eggs, to baked breads from bakeries, to full prepared meals. That's one of our biggest sellers is our soups and our prepared foods, so you can just have them and you can either eat them right away or you can heat them up. We have a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. We have CSA box options. It's really customizable to whatever you want. We have a lot of vegan options. We have dairy-free, we have sugar-free. We also even have ice cream and cheese and things like that. I know that they love prepared foods. That has been one of our biggest sellers, so we have worked very hard to make sure there's a wide variety. So we have everything from Italian food to Ethiopian food to Saskatchewan food.
Then those farm fresh items are brought direct to consumers.
And we deliver right now from Nipomo to Paso Robles and to Cambria, so we have quite a wide delivery radius.
This service is also providing another sales avenue for small, local farmers, ranchers, and food producers.
A lot of our farmers are in their crops, in their fields all the time. They don't have time to upload pictures and change descriptions and do things like that, so we're happy to help them with that. A lot of them are great and do it on their own, but we're also here to help them. We're trying to reduce the barriers for them and help add more sales outlets for them instead of add more work. We have a couple drop-off points. We have one in Santa Maria, we have our hub here in San Luis Obispo, we have a hub in Atascadero and in Paso Robles. So on Thursdays, we have one driver go to a farmer's market and pick up from there and bring it back to our hub. And then on Friday, we have a driver that does a pickup route to all of those hubs, if you will, those drop-off locations, and brings it back here.
Molnar Cattle is one vendor gladly accepting the assist from Harvestly.
It's awesome that I get to just pack orders and just bring them here every week, and it's super easy for me to get it to the consumer, and it just takes that part of it out for me where I don't have to plan a day and drive around all these houses and deliver, and it's just super easy for the producer to get the product to the consumer.
Our farmers and ranchers and all of our producers can set their own prices. So they know if they're going to try to sell tomatoes for $20, they're not going to sell any. So it's completely up to them, their pricing. and I think we're pretty price comparable. I know there's a lot lower margin on farm products, so they do really well with keeping their prices low, and I think we're pretty dang close to being equivalent with farmers market prices.
City Farm Slow sees advantages in their Harvestly partnership too.
You're harvesting specifically for orders. You know all of the food is already ordered, will be paid for, and then we don't have to staff a farmer's market. We rather harvest, deliver to their super convenient location. We're actually a mile away from their distribution center, which is awesome. And we've been able to connect with so many more customers that way. So it's been great for our really small scale operation.
And we can't forget to mention, Harvestly gives back to the community in a big way by donating 100% of earnings to expand access to healthy local farm and food products.
We are a nonprofit. We do have our social mission, which is to provide food to everyone in our community. We are working heavily this year on hopefully being able to accept EBT. I grew up here, I'm a local, and we really want to provide an opportunity for them to be able to purchase affordable local foods that in turn support our local vendors. We know it's a really expensive area to live in and it's challenging to be here. So if any inkling that we can help our customers receive the best of the best and our vendors be able to have a sustainable business, it's a win-win for all of us.
When we come back, there's no horsing around.
Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's largest financial services companies too. Just like I'm so much more than quarterback Peyton Manning. I'm also Peyton Manning.
It's lovely, Peyton.
Did you say Peyton or Peyton?
Peyton.
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 Great work.
Thank you. For your insurance and financial needs, Peyton, Nationwide is on your side.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
California Farm Bureau's all-new podcast, Voice of California Agriculture, is streaming now. Tune in for the latest farm and food news, legislative updates, and more. Listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can also visit cfbf.com to access the podcast links. Therapeutic horsemanship is being used as a unique means to enrich the lives of children and adults with physical, cognitive, and emotional disabilities.
We have the fortune to be able to use the horse as our partner, as our equine partner for our riders. So we have been serving Tulare Kings and Fresno counties for 39 years. We serve kids with physical, mental, and cognitive disabilities, and like I said, as well as military veterans.
Happy Trails Riding Academy is the only fully accredited equine-assisted therapeutic riding center in the San Joaquin Valley between Bakersfield and Modesto.
All right, Miss Erin, come on over here and let's greet your horse. Say good afternoon, Toby.
Hello, Toby. They're learning basic riding skills, but with that, a little bit of a twist. So the horse is the only piece of equipment that moves like us through space. So we're able to put the rider on the back of the horse, and all of the movement of the horse is transferred right into the rider. So riders with physical disabilities, we're able to strengthen different muscles, work things that maybe you're not able to work as being a non-traditional facility. We are definitely a part of agriculture. We have to feed our horses. We have 11 acres of pasture that we have to take care of. We are part of all the new groundwater regulations that are going on.
Learning how to be a good partner to a horse or how to ride a horse, stop, start, and steer, move it from place to place, also while getting all of the physical benefits of riding a horse. It's a very physical activity. There's also an emotional connection to the horse. There's a partnership there, and there's also a partnership that comes from interacting with the rest of the students in the group as well as the volunteers that are in the class as well. For those people who are motivated by horses, it's pretty empowering to establish and build a relationship with something that can weigh 10 to 15 times what you do, that doesn't speak and doesn't communicate the way you and I do, and that doesn't necessarily seek out our company in the wild. If you look behind me, you may see some horses that aren't crowding the fence. They're happy to be out there by themselves. So the horses that we have out here are very special in that when they're called into a class to go to work, they're happy to be there. They're excited to connect with whoever it is. They don't necessarily seek it out. We do like for them to have their pasture time when they're not in class. But having that time to connect with a horse that, again, they're capable of so much, they're so much bigger, they're so much stronger, they're so much more powerful than we are. But to establish a connection with an animal like that, without speech, without any verbalization, it's tremendously empowering.
I was born and raised around them, and I don't know, it's just something that me and my family do, and I love it. And then coming here at Hab Trails, I just fell in love with the place. I fell in love with the staff and the team, and I just knew from my past experience I wanted to be part of them. It's really hard when you get told when you're very young that you have a very strong disability like mine, which is Stupid syndrome or FG syndrome, and then you feel so down and alone, and you feel like you're really not part of anything, and then you come out here and you just feel completely normal. And being with all these horses around here, they just make you feel normal.
Happy Trails has 18 horses that come in every size, shape, make, and model. They're not rescues, but rather retired from previous careers.
A lot of quarter horses, which are a pretty common breed in this area. We have some paints. We have a really tall, strong, heavy horse, and then 2 smaller versions of her, 2 pony versions of her, as well as a handful of other kind of more unique breeds to this area. We can select a horse based on their temperament. We can also select a horse based on their size and shape, and we can also select a horse for a student based on the kind of movement or input they're going to deliver to a student.
And you're just going to go all the way around.
For a child that is perhaps in a wheelchair or is in a special ed class full-time where they're not working with a lot of other peers that look like them, they have an opportunity to come out here and do something that it's inherently risky, it's exciting, it's empowering, it's a new skill, it's outside, and a lot of their peers may not be doing something like this. A lot of their peers may not have the opportunity to ride a horse or work as a partner with a horse.
And they're quick to point out their mission is made possible by a stable of dedicated volunteers.
Volunteers are critical to the work that we do. We are a staff of 8 or 9, and we will see probably 65 or 70 people a week out here. We cannot do the work that we do. We cannot offer safe services or successful experiences for our students without volunteers.
I consider them a second family to me. Even my family does, and they're very grateful, and I'm very grateful to them, and I owe them everything.
We like to see people leave here happier than when they came. So the horses are a great vehicle to do that.
That's it for this do-gooder edition of the show. Be sure to also check us out online at CaliforniaBountiful.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.